So, good evening, people. Fuck Love Island. It is all about my stream. All of you are now sat there watching my stream while your girlfriends and wives are watching Love Island right now. So I appreciate that. Thank you very much to everybody who is already in the chat room. Over 60 people watching live already. Wow, Jesus Christ. But yes, Joachim, how do you pronounce the guy's name? I have no idea. Joachim. Anyway, Andersen, the guy from Sampdoria. He has spoken. The man has spoken, and he has basically said, "Come and get me." He is basically saying that he sees his career away from Sampdoria. I'm going to read the direct quotes in a minute. Thank you to over 100 people watching live right now. I really appreciate that. Thank you. I know I take up a lot of your time and your evenings, lunch times, lunch breaks, wherever you're watching all over the world. I know some of you do this on the sly while you're in class or at work. So really, really appreciate that. But yeah, let's get straight into what this guy has said. Does this mean he's coming to Arsenal? I don't know, but let's read what he said. Tottenham are linked with him. We're linked with him. And this is the actual quotes of what he has said and has been put out to the press. "It could be time for me to further my career. I have loved my time in Sampdoria, the fans, the president, the staff, the players, the city. But maybe it's time for me to move on and develop further." It then goes on to say, there are a number of clubs interested from Europe's biggest leagues who are discussing with my agent, and I'll be making a decision shortly together with my family and my agent. It is very important for me that Sampdoria can also benefit from my eventual transfer. It's not all about me. I have so much to thank the great club for. Without Sampdoria, I wouldn't have had the opportunities I have had to this point. I have dreams of playing in the biggest clubs in the world and the biggest leagues in the world. I am lucky enough to already be playing for one of them. I think I have a pretty broad football education, and I don't see why I shouldn't be able to adapt, I think he means adapt, to most leagues. But I'm not saying it would be easy. I have learned a lot. I grew up in Denmark and Holland playing with a lot of possession. When I came to Italy, I learned a new part of the defending game, which added a new layer to my football education. But most importantly, I haven't forgotten how to play ball. That means I am still comfortable in possession whilst I have developed as a defender. My position is a good one. And of course, I am pretty tall. I'm 193 centimeters, which gives me an advantage in the air. I'm not going to tell you what I had to work on. Let the strikers see if they can find that out themselves. Now, wow. If I was a Sampdoria fan, I would be absolutely seething right now. I'd be going absolutely nuts. You know, this guy is basically saying that, you know, cheers for the opportunity, Sampdoria, but it's time to say goodbye. And yeah, whilst it's a great opportunity for him to come to the Premier League, and there is Arsenal, Tottenham linked with him, I'm sure there's other clubs around Europe linked with the guy. I find it astounding that he has come out and said all of that. You know, yes, I know that they play the PR game a lot of the time, but for him to come out and actually say that and say all of that, he's leaving Sampdoria. Let's be real. Now it is a case of where he is going. Lyon are linked with him, as Majib Ahmed says. We're linked with him. Tottenham are linked with him. Sampdoria are trying to mug us off for 30 million quid for the guy. He ain't worth 30 million quid. Let's be real. Until a month ago or 3 weeks ago, nobody knew who this guy was unless they watch Serie A, which I don't, and I'm sure 90% of the people watching this stream right now don't. But let's be real here, right? And let's take it logically, right? There's only two clubs he's going to, in my opinion. It's only my opinion, and I may end up with egg on my face in a couple of days' time or a week's time or 2 weeks' time when he finally moves. But for me, it's either Arsenal or Tottenham. Now, with Toby Alderweireld, is he going? Is he staying? Who knows? Nobody knows that right now. Only he knows, only his agent knows, and only Tottenham know. They can offer Champions League football. We can't. We can offer him first-team football. can Tottenham offer him first team football? Would he go straight into Tottenham's first 11? I'm not so sure. They've got Davinson Sanchez, Vertonghen, they've got Foyth. Would he walk straight into Tottenham's back line? I'm not convinced that is the case. Would he walk into Lyon's back line? Possibly. He would walk straight into our back line because Mustafi is an absolute liability at centre-back. Rob Holding's a very good centre-back. He can walk out of defence. He's a ball-playing centre-back. He's tall. He wins headers. And this guy is exactly the same. He's very comfortable on the ball. He can stroll out of defence. He can take a man on. He's good aerially. He's good physically. But would he get straight into our first team? I think he probably would. And that is why I'm convinced this guy is going to be one of our summer signings. Now, like I said, I'll probably end up with egg on my face if he goes somewhere else and you lot will clip this and like send it all around social media. But personally, I do think this guy is going to come to Arsenal. Thank you, VP. Appreciate that, my friend. Big up over 250 of you watching live as well. Thank you very much. But I do think he is going to come to Arsenal. And the fact that he's put out a statement like that suggests 100% he is leaving Sampdoria. He wants them to get a decent-sized fee for him. He wants to go and challenge himself in the best leagues. He wants to challenge himself at the best clubs. He's already said that in his statement. So I think it is all teed up that Joachim Anderson, Joachim Anderson, Joachim, whatever his fucking name is, yeah, that guy, as far as I'm concerned, will end up being an Arsenal player in the next couple of weeks. And if he does come in, listen, I didn't know who the guy was 2 weeks ago. I've looked at him, I've studied him. I spoke to people that love Italian football. They watch Serie A every week. A lot of people are 50-50 with the guy, saying he's not all that. A lot of people are saying he'd be perfect for the Premier League. So it's a 50-50. And listen, anytime you buy a player, it doesn't matter whether it's from the Premier League or whether it's from a foreign league, it is always a risk. And I said this earlier when I was speaking about Reiss Nelson. You know, I'd play Reiss Nelson because he could save us 30 million quid on a right winger. This guy, he could come in, he could be hit and miss. He could be a Scalacci, or he could be a Socrates. He could come in and he could be fantastic. You know, Socrates has had a fantastic season for us. Yes, he's had a few scary moments, a few rash moments, but in the main, I think Socrates has done rather well this season. But he could also come in and be that Scalacci, that Senderos, that Johan Giroud type of guy. And if he does, and we spend out 30 million quid on him, or 30 million euros, whatever it may be in the end, then it is a massive risk. But would he make our first team? That is the main question, because I don't think he'd make Tottenham's first team. I think Davinson Sanchez is better than him. I think Jan Vertonghen's better than him. Foyth, not so sure about him. I think he'd probably get in over him, but they don't really play with a three at the back, Tottenham. Would he get in at Lyon? And let's be real, why would he go from the Italian league to the French league? I'm not so sure he would. You know, let's be real. No disrespect to the French league. They do their own thing and all that, but it's not quite the exposure and the limelight you get by being in the Premier League. And not only that, Arsenal are a massive football club. Yes, I know we're languishing down in fifth. We're Europa League. We're a banter club. We're this, we're that, whatever you want to call us, right? But at the same time, we are still a big draw to certain players. We're not a big draw to the best players in Europe, but we are a big draw to the likes of Andersen. You know, if Arsenal come in for you, it's hard to say no. And let's be real, Real Madrid ain't coming in for him anytime soon. Barcelona ain't coming in for him anytime soon. So why wouldn't he want to come to Arsenal? And if we get this guy and he comes in, he hits the ground running for 30 million euros, 30 million quid, whatever the fee is, that could end up in a couple of years' time being a great bit of business. But it could also end up being a shocking bit of business. We've seen that with Mustafi. We spent 35 million quid on that guy, and he is a liability. Let's be real. He ain't the greatest centre-back we've ever had, is he? He's probably not even in the top 50 centre-backs we've ever had. But I don't know. I just think that the fact that he's come out and spoke about it, the fact he's put that statement out there into the media, into the public, I think that's a bit of a kick in the teeth for Sampdoria fans. I think they'll probably be a little bit pissed off by it. You know, at the end of the day, say nothing. Yeah, say nothing and leave it up to interpretation. Wait until the deal has gone through and you're unveiled as an Arsenal player, a Tottenham player, a Lyon player, whoever you're going to, and then talk about Sampdoria and say that you appreciate what they gave you and this and that, and they were a massive club and blah, blah, blah. Because when I was growing up, Sampdoria were a massive football club. They're not anymore. They've sort of slumped down the table and they're just a mediocre team in the Italian league now, which is quite sad because back in the day, they were a fantastic team. But there's no time for sentiment. And if this guy wants to leave, and he clearly does want to leave, Sampdoria are open to selling him. It's now a case of how much we have to pay for the guy. And I don't think we should go over 30 million quid for him. I think we've seen that with Mustafi. I think that Mustafi came in for £35 million. Nobody really knew who Mustafi was, and he has been fucking shocking. So we could have another Mustafi on our hands, or we could have a Virgil van Dijk in the making. Maybe that's too much to ask for, I don't know. But there's my 10 minutes, 11 minutes on it. I've read his statement out. Thank you to over 300 people watching live right now. And let's see what you guys think about it. Let's open it up for a debate and see what you guys are saying. Big up Guna Eagle Eye in the chat room. If you ain't subscribed to him, why not? Scroll up to his comment, click on the icon, and go and get him up to 5K. Top quality content, and he's my pal as well. So he says, trying to get my editing done before you finish the stream, testing myself. Chig, you see what, yeah? Watch when the end of this stream ends, yeah? When the stream's done, you'll be texting me going, oh, I didn't get it done, man. I didn't get it done. We need an experienced centre-half, says Peter Woods. Do you know what? The fact you've called him a centre-half, I know you're older than me, bruv. Yeah? But do you know what? I see what you're saying, and I do kind of agree. Listen, like this William Saliba, I don't want him. I don't want him. You know, 18 years old. He's the same price as this guy. Don't want him. You know, to go and buy an experienced centre-back that could slot straight into our team, we're going to be talking about 40 million quid, there or thereabouts. Alderweireld ain't coming to us. He's probably got a no Arsenal clause in his contract. So to go out there and spend 25, 30 million quid on a player at centre-back, I don't want to buy William Saliba. Not for me. He may turn out to be fantastic. I ain't taking that risk. I want somebody that's half decent at centre-back. Is this guy Andersen half decent at centre-back? I don't know. I don't watch Serie A. But I'd rather take him over William Saliba based on the fact of his age, based on the fact of his experience in a proper league. I call the Serie A a proper league. It's better than the French league. So I would take him for that sort of money. But if it was left down to me, I wouldn't look at either of them. I'd go and buy Manolas. I think that, yes, even though it's still the same league, I think that guy's got a wealth of experience and he'd slot straight in next to Socrates. But will Chig finish his editing before the stream ends? No chance, VP. No chance. You heard it here first. Good evening, Lee. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, mate. Arsenal need experienced centre-backs. How can our fan base be so happy with Andersen? I'm bloody Italian and I've watched Andersen. Here's the new version of Mustafi. There you go, people. Well, there you go. You heard it from Arsenal Vlog's mouth. Javier, thank you. Big up Miami as well, bruv. Beautiful place, man. Kurt Zuma, says Nathaniel Brown. Do you know what? Kurt Zuma has been linked with us a few times over the last sort of 12, 18 months. I don't get it with him, man. You know, there's a reason Chelsea have let him go out on loan. And I can't see him starting for Chelsea. So why should he start for us? That's just how I see it. But there we go. Which deep line playmaker would you buy to replace Granit Xhaka? Says Multipoops. I wouldn't buy a deep line playmaker because I think that role is the biggest load of fucking bullshit myth I've ever heard in my life. Deep lying playmaker. What does he make? He don't make any play. He passes sideways and backwards and the odd diagonal. For me, I would go and buy another Torreira type player, somebody who's comfortable on the ball. Wilfred and Ndidi would be perfect. Idrissa Gueye, I know he's a little bit older. I've been banging the Idrissa Gueye drum for about 3 seasons, and I know he signed a new contract with Everton last season. But if you put 2 of the same type of player next to each other, one of them can go, one of them can stay. Yeah, with Granit Xhaka, the guy's got nothing about him. He ain't a playmaker. this deep lying register bullshit fucking shit that kids have made up is exactly that. It's bullshit. Fucking deep lying playmaker. The geezer don't make fuck all apart from mistakes. It's all he's making, mistakes. So I'd go and buy an Ndidi, a Decore, an Idrissa Gueye, somebody of that mould, that's comfortable on the ball, left foot, right foot, can take a man on, can spray passes, can do the defensive side. And if you stick that alongside Lucas Torreira, both of them can do the same thing. One can stay, one can go. You know, and at the end of the day, Granit Xhaka for me, not good enough, mate. So I'll probably replace you with Granit Xhaka with you right now. Deep line mistake maker, says Tom Platt. Exactly. William Carvalho says Sidon Rodriguez. He's a good player. He is a good player, but he's been linked with us for about 6 seasons now, and it's another Jan and Villa all over again. Yeah, Andersen is the new Italian Mustafi. Tosh. Xhaka doesn't stay in the deep line, says Tokyo Gouda. Do you know what? You're spot on, he don't, because he goes wandering, mate. He's an absolute liability. Ossian says, can Bielik drop Xhaka next season? Do you know what? As much as I don't rate Granit Xhaka, Bielik don't deserve to play for Arsenal, mate. Not good enough. VP, thank you for the transfer fund, mate. I'll try and put that towards getting Granit Xhaka's air flight out of the club. Nathan Aki says Barney Barra. Do you know what I said about Nathan Aki a few months back? Yeah, and people just laughed at me. They were like, "Oh, what do you want Nathan Aki for?" All because he can actually fucking defend. That's why I want him. He's better than Mustafi. We should buy a British centre back, Harry Maguire. Pay the money, we won't regret it, says Kuma Ahmet. I'm not sure he's worth the £90 million reported that Leicester want for him. But I do get what you're saying. Connor Cody, Lewis Dunk, Maguire, players of that mould and that ilk, I'd buy them all day long. Ben Mee, says Nathaniel Brown, another one. Tarkovsky as well, another good centre-back. My three-legged dog could replace Granit Xhaka, says Ockerman Kuna. Would you buy Tierney for 10 million and give Celtic Mustafi and Monreal, says the random vlog? I'd buy Tierney for 25 million and give him Jenkinson for free. Willy Bolly. Yeah, another good player. Another good player. What's going on with Aubameyang, says Harvey Good. I think that's just all bollocks, the rumour to Man United, mate. Andy Goldstein from TalkSport mentioned that a couple of nights ago. So, yeah, not quite sure that's a true story. What about Boateng, says Hippie Fari. Not for me, mate. Not for me. Good defender about 5 years ago. Not for me now. Lee, where do you find all this transfer news? When I search Arsenal transfers, it comes up with Man United and Liverpool. Mr. Reese 123. Just type Arsenal transfer news, man. It comes up with shitloads of stuff. Comes up with loads of stuff, man. What about Adam Johnson? Maybe he can coach our under-9s. Would you sell Aubameyang to United for 90 million, says Wemsey? No, I wouldn't. We ain't selling to them. Fuck them. Good evening from Mexico. Thank you for that, my friend. Been to Mexico, been to Cancun, mate. Beautiful place. Absolutely stunning. Came back with a sore throat, hardly any voice, a banging headache. Yeah, needed another holiday, man. Spring break was messy. Dante, thank you for your donation, my friend. Evening Lee. We'll buy this special Saliba, then ruin his career by playing him right back all season because Bellerin is part-time. Do you know what? That's not a million miles away from the truth, mate. Or we'll buy him and then we'll loan him back to where he's at and he'll break a leg or something. And yeah, we won't end up seeing anything of him. Stephen Quilty says, hi, mate. Do you find out where we can buy the jerseys? Thanks for your donation as well. Do you know what, right? I've seen so many people. I said this last night on the stream, right? I've seen so many people on their Instagram posts with the actual shirt for next season on. They're wearing the shirt. Where are they getting them from? If anyone's got that link, stick it in that comment section down there and in the chat, because I want one of them shirts. So yeah, let me know so we can post that everywhere and get the movement going, because if that is the kit and that is the shirts for next season, I want all 3 of them. Are you still pissed from earlier? Bruv, I weren't pissed. I weren't pissed. I've vowed never to do another pissed stream, video, podcast, whatever. Never doing it again. Just because I've got a can of Stella in my hand don't mean I'm pissed, bruv. Would you sell Aubameyang to Man United for 50 million if they give us Martial, says the random vlog? That could be tempting. That could be tempting. But fuck Man United. We've given them way too many of our better players over the years, mate. So no. Kuma Ahmet says, love the chat here, Lee. Podcast name, Keep It Real. That's a good name, man. Thank you. Stephen Trotter says, another window, and the only place Jenko's linked to is the Arsenal supporter shop. Bro, seriously, that guy, guarantee it now, yeah, before the end of this transfer window, that little fuck will end up getting a mystery injury, which will keep him here past the cutoff for the transfer window, and that fucker will still be here when we go into January transfer window. That guy is like a cat. He's got 9 lives. Abhishek says, what happened to Alaba? He can play right back and right wing. I don't want him, man. I don't want him. I don't think we were even in for him, to be honest with you. Loving the vlogs. Keep them coming. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate that. Can always sign Yaya Sonogo, says Benjamin. West Bromwich Albion interested in Jenkinson, says David. Yeah, mate, I'll drive him to the Black Country right now, bruv. That's where it is at. And that's not racist. That's what it's called, mate. Yeah, that's what it's called in England. So yeah, there we go. I'm a United fan, but I really like your content. Thank you, Z. Jamie. Thank you for that, mate. Listen, I'm not biased. I'm not a deluded Arsenal fan to think that we're better than we are. So I know that a large percentage of the people that are subscribed to me are not Arsenal fans, but that's because I'll just say what I see, you know. In fact, you lot probably like me more than Arsenal fans like me. Most Arsenal fans want to smash fuck out of me. Barney Barra, thanks for your contribution, your donation, my friend. I genuinely appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you very much. Why don't we give a chance to Zach Medley? To be honest, I don't think we're going to sign anybody before we announce officially the new kits, because there is no reason to. You're spot on. We ain't going to sign anybody before the new kits. I think that is possibly something that was in the contract with Adidas. I don't know. I wasn't part of the negotiation process, but it makes sense. You know, we're linked to 1,000,001 players and we haven't signed anyone. The kits are being leaked left, right and centre. And I think that on the 1st of July, when them kits come out, I'm hoping and praying that we unveil them with a player in them. And then after that, it's a ripple effect, a domino effect. So, yeah, hopefully. In terms of Zach Medley, not too sure about that, if I'm being honest, mate. I think maybe a loan move first. Stick him out on loan to maybe a lower down the table team or a championship team. Maybe even Charlton. You know, Charlton are going to loan in Nketiah. So why not loan Zach Medley as well? 2 for the price of 1. But I do think he is a very good player. Like, we've seen him play a few games. He looks composed on the ball. He looks calm. He can play out from the back, and he's very good aerially as well. Positionally, I don't think he's fantastic, but obviously he's a young boy. So I don't know. VP, thank you, mate. Cheers. So yeah. Chig says, I would loan Medley to a League One team, ease him in. Exactly. It's all about easing these players in. Like, some of them are ready. Yeah, and I do think some of them are ready. I think that Smith Rowe's ready. I think Reece Nelson should start. But Maitland-Niles as well, obviously we've seen him play out of position, but I think he's more than ready. Joe Willock, I think, is ready. I'd loan out Saka and I'd loan out Medley. You know, I think if you, and Nketiah as well, loan these players out. If you loan them out, even to a championship team, they are playing against big, strong men every single week rather than playing against kids their own age. So sometimes it's for the benefit of them, but it also benefits the club they're being loaned to. Rasmus Fordersen, thank you very much for your donation, my friend. We should sign a big striker that can battle in the box and score headers. Let's go and sign Andy Carroll, brother. All jokes aside, I agree. As much as I underappreciated Olivier Giroud and I thought he was absolute tripe, I think that you do need that that backup plan, that second guy that can come off the bench and fuck shit up. Which is exactly why I'd go and sign Diego Costa. Go and throw £45 million at Atletico and say we want Diego Costa. If they want Lacazette, which they're rumoured to want, maybe do a swap deal, plus them give us a bit of cash. Because Diego Costa's the sort of dirty fuck that we need up front. Stick him with Aubameyang, it could be a different story, do you know what I mean? But I agree, mate, we do need something different, somebody that can score headers, somebody that can just be a nuisance in the box. Somebody that's maybe not so physical, but somebody that's quite tall and that wins headers, you know? So, yeah, I agree with that, mate. I do agree with that. Rondon, says Big Gunner D. Do you think Rondon would be any good? Do you think he'd be any good? I know I know he's physical and he's big. He's a fucking big lump. I'll give him that. Would he be any good? I don't know. Finished my editing, just saying. Well done, Gunnar Eagle Eye. Round of applause. Round of applause. 26 minutes. He's finished his editing. If you ain't subscribed to Gunnar Eagle Eye, we've got loads of content coming next season. So go and subscribe to him. He's got loads of content right now. He's just finished some editing right now. So go click his icon and subscribe to him. Don't buy the kits. Follow the movement. Kroenke out, says Elite Samurai. Bruv, the kits are paid for. Yeah, if I go and buy 3 kits, that donates about £10.50 to the club. I think you get about £3.50 to £5 per sale of a shirt, because obviously Adidas have already done a deal for 60 million quid to pay up front for that. So every shirt that's sold off of the back of that, I think Adidas get majority of the money, and I think Arsenal only get about 5 to 10% of the money. So anywhere between £3.50 and £7 is all the club would get off of the back of that. So Kroenke's already laughing, bruv. J. David Atkins, sorry. Thank you for your donation, my friend. Love from Miami. I haven't forgotten Arsenal yet. We need Kroenke out. He limits our budget. Do you know what, right? I'm not going to go on a rant about it because I don't want to mug anyone off or anything, yeah? But the budget is the budget, whether Kroenke's in charge or not, because we're self-sufficient. So I went through this on the stream the other night, so I'll skirt over it very quickly because it bored the life out of the people that heard it the other night. But when we moved from Highbury to the Emirates, we were already self-sufficient. That's the reason we moved, right? We wanted to be self-sufficient. Now, we moved to the Emirates to be self-sufficient before Stan Kroenke took over as a shareholder. Not the owner, a shareholder. Certain people sold their shares, Bracewell Smith, David Dean, etc., right? Now, further down the line, he's bought more and more stake in the club, to the point where in January, I think it was, he took over the full stake. So he has only officially been our full owner for about 6-7 months. Before that, he was just a shareholder, the same as Usmanov, the same as other people on the board that have got shares, right? The same as some of the fans and supporters clubs that have got shares in the club, right? So he had the majority stake. That don't mean he could decide everything at the club. It still had to go to the panel and they still had to vote on certain things, right? Now, the reason he was brought into the club is because he fitted the mold of the self-sufficient model, which is what we wanted, which is why we moved. So the fact that he's overseen a failing process, yes, I blame him for that. I blame him for not sacking Wenger and Gazidis before he did. And I blame him for not stepping in and keeping an eye on it. When he did, and he sent his son over, he sacked everyone. So now he's got full stake since sacking everyone. Now is the test for Stan Kroenke. But this idea and this notion that he's going to go and throw 200 million quid at us, it's on deaf ears, mate, seriously, because at the end of the day, for example, January just gone, he could have given us £500 million go and sign Lionel Messi. Our wage bill was so fucked that we couldn't sign anyone. So it's not Stan Kroenke's fault we're in a massive mess. Although he oversaw that mess, so I do blame him for that. But it's Ivan Gazidis and Arsene Wenger that have allowed us to get in this mess. So that's the end of that. I'm not going to bore the life out of you anymore for the people that heard it the other day. LCFC News Killer Foxy says, you should buy Tillemans. I am a Leicester season ticket holder and he was brilliant, available for 40 million. Bruv, I couldn't agree more with that. He played very, very well against us. His output for the little amount of time he played was absolutely fantastic. So somebody is going to get themselves a fantastic footballer, mate, because he is brilliant. He has given us nothing, literally nothing, compared to the other owners that have given £400 million. And look at what they have done. Totally different scenario, mate. Totally different scenario, right? And I don't want to mug you off. I don't want to sound patronising or anything like that. So take it with a pinch of salt, what I'm saying, yeah? Right? Man City and Chelsea, with their owners, right? Man City's owner owns half of the world. Yeah, they're worth an absolute fortune. They own Etihad Airlines and stuff like that. They go and build a training complex, right, a training ground, and they get one of their other companies to sponsor it for £300 million. That gets offset against FFP. We ain't going to do that, you know. And when Abramovich took over at Chelsea, 99.99% of Arsenal fans didn't want a sugar daddy. Yeah, back then, I remember back then, nobody wanted a sugar daddy. Oh, they're fucking buying the league. They're this, they're that. We're doing it the right way, the Arsenal way. Now, fast forward all these years later, it's, oh, we actually do need a sugar daddy, right? And with Abramovich, we have actually spent more money than Chelsea in the last 5 seasons. Yeah, the difference is Chelsea went bang, 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 spent a fortune to start off with before FFP was even a fucking thing. That brought them a lot of success. That brought them a core squad of players, which then went on to further success. Now, Abramovich don't run it like he used to. He runs it like a business because that's what it ultimately is. It's a business, whether we like it or not. I just think that the fact that people think that Stan Kroenke is going to be that guy, it's misguided, because that's not what the Arsenal board wanted, and that is not what they still want now. We want a self-sufficient model, and that is the way football's supposed to be going. PSG and Man City bend the rules. They get round that. Real Madrid get round it. Excuse me. But yeah, PSG get round it by buying Neymar for 200 million, which was funded by a sponsorship deal by the Qatari Tourist Board to have Neymar as the main face of the Qatar World Cup. They'll pay 200 million quid for that. Oh, guess what? The owners of PSG are from Qatar. Come on, man. We ain't going to do that. We're never going to do that. And that is not what Arsenal wanted. And that's still not what the board of directors, which in the main are still the same board of directors from when we first moved to the Emirates to now. They're still all there. So they ain't ever going to do that. So as much as I'd love them to do that, sadly, that ain't the case. And if we hadn't have given Ozil a massive contract, or Mustafi, Xhaka, players like that, then we'd be in a position where we could go and do 90 million quid on a footballer and pay him 400 grand a week. But we've mismanaged our money for a decade, and unfortunately it's come on top, and now we're fucked. Dante, thank you very much. Kroenke is keeping Unai and I on things. Do you know what? I think Unai Emery is a good manager. I think that Josh Kroenke is going to take more of a prominent role in the club rather than his dad. His dad don't give 2 fucks about football. I think Josh Kroenke does. How much he does, I don't know. But he was at the Europa League final. That in itself is an improvement because these fuckers don't go anywhere. So I think that at some point it'll be signed over to Josh, or whether it's already been given to him, like, you've got the reins, go and run it. And let's be real, if you look at his American franchises, and they are franchises, let's be real, they're doing a lot better than they were 3 to 5 years ago. So I'm not too quick to jump on a bandwagon and blame an owner when the manager and the CEO that were here previously have completely fucked our wage bill, bought bang average shit players, tactically inept, spin after spin after spin every summer. The one thing I do blame the owner for is allowing it to continue for 5 seasons too long. He should have fucked them both off 5 years ago, and it might have been us in the Champions League final. He cares more about the Rams, says VP. He does care more about the Rams, and why should he care about Arsenal? He don't owe us nothing. He ain't English. You know, that's like me going and buying the Rams but owning Arsenal. Would I give a fuck about the Rams? No. If it makes money, then cool. Which is all he cares about. Yeah, he cares about being able to build up that platform. And people say he takes money out of the club. He don't take money out of the club. He's taken £6 million in 11 years, which is half of what the previous manager was taking every season. So, you know, this bandwagon that a lot of people jump on is misguided at times, and people don't know the ins and outs of it. It's the same with transfers. I was trying to explain the other day. Listen, I don't know everything. I'm not the fucking oracle or the encyclopedia of Arsenal and the ins and outs of it, but I do have a fair knowledge of how an owner runs a club and how transfers work. And the way people were trying to tell me in my comments on that video the other day, it was just fucking laughable. People seem to think we pay up front for players. If that is the case, how comes our budget last summer was £50 million and we spent £80 million just on fees? Without wages, without agent fees, how's that possible? You do not pay up front for players. Yeah, very, very rarely. But I don't know fuck all, and Robert Pires is the man. So, yeah, it is what it is. Right, let's do 5 more minutes of questions and comments, and now I'm fucking myself off out of here. Buy Kleb from Barte. No, leave him there. I thought you said you wouldn't rant. Chick, you know me, bro. Once I get going, man. I'm passionate. You know, at the end of the day, it's just like a lot of Arsenal fans are misguided. They think the stadium's paid off. They think that Wenger built the stadium. They think that Stan Kroenke is the issue. They don't know the ins and outs of what happened before we moved from the Emirates. They don't know that. So hence trying to educate people. Whether people listen is entirely up to them. I don't claim to be anything special. I just give you my thoughts. And if people agree, then fantastic. If you don't, then fantastic. Cool. Let's have a debate about it. But, you know, the owner of this football club was the perfect owner for what the board of directors wanted and the self-sufficient model we wanted, which is still the case now, all these years later. So, you know, to moan about the owner is just pointless because he ain't going anywhere and he is what the board of directors wanted. Maybe instead of covering the tracks of the CEO and the previous manager for all their flaws and their fucking liabilities, buying Granit Xhaka over Kante, rejecting 60 million for Sanchez and swapping him for Mickey, allowing Ramsey to walk out the club for fuck all, Serge Gnabry to go for nothing, Fabianski to walk out for nothing. You know, all these players, Van Persie for 20 million quid, you know, I just think that if the owner was caring about money, surely these things wouldn't have happened. Omar says, where do you see us by Christmas? Hopefully in the top 4, my friend. Don't necessarily agree with you regarding Stan, but I do agree bitching about him is pointless. Why would he leave something which makes him money? Do you know what? It don't necessarily make him money, Chick, yeah? But what it does is it gives him clout, yeah? So when he goes to a bank, yeah, he's got a AAA fucking credit score, and he can go to the bank and go, wow, I own Arsenal Football Club in England. That is fucking running a sustainable business. It's running at a profit every season. Yeah, I'm not a loss to you guys because if you loan me money, I can secure that against the loan and blah, blah, blah. And listen, at the end of the day, this is what businessmen do. It's nothing different to what normal businessmen outside of the football world do. They don't own a great deal of stuff because it's all bank loans. Look at the Glazers. The Glazers are in £500 million debt. Yeah, but they own Man United. They don't own Man United. They have an ownership fucking, you know, title of Man United. They don't own that club. They're in £500 million debt, and if they leave, that debt is secured to the club. So that has allowed them to go and secure other businesses across the world. And this is what people do. They, you know, why would you, I said this yesterday, why would you go and buy a house for 200 grand if you've only got 200 grand in your bank account? You're not going to do that. You're going to put it on a mortgage, leave your 200 grand in the bank and go and fund another business with that 200 grand. You've now got a fucking asset of 200 grand. You've still got your 200 grand. Yeah. You then go and buy another asset for 50 grand. You've now got 250 grand's worth of assets. You can now go and get a bank loan to fund that 50 grand asset and to fund that 200 grand asset. And that is what business people do, especially billionaires and millionaires, like high-end millionaires. They don't genuinely own a great deal outright. It's all on tick. Yeah, it is all on tick. And that is how they accumulate massive assets. Yet when they want to come to sell it, that is when they can go, right, we're cashing in. Ta-ta, thank you very much. I am now worth X amount. But if you look at Roman Abramovich, another one, he don't own Chelsea. He don't own Chelsea. He might have full ownership of Chelsea. He don't own Chelsea. They're in £1 billion worth of debt to him. So anyone who buys Chelsea needs to pay him £1 billion before they even fucking buy the club. You know, and that's how football works, you know. You know, Man City have come in, and what Man City, them owners have done with Man City is nothing short of fantastic. And I met a load of Man City fans last season, the season just gone, opening day. They were fucking loving life, man. They were like late 50s, the people I was speaking to. They've seen them in Division 2, Division 1. They've seen them relegated. They see Man United relegate them on the last day of the season. Yeah, like fucking Dennis Law and all that. Yeah, they've seen all of that. Yeah, and now they're loving life. And why shouldn't they? Listen, I'd love nothing more than for a sugar daddy to come in and buy Arsenal. Ain't happening. So we just got to suck it up and hope that the regime we have got in place right now is good enough to overhaul this fucking bang average dog shit squad and turn it into gold. Will that happen overnight? Hell no. But we shall continue. We're not a Chelsea. We didn't want Chelsea. We didn't want a sugar daddy. So we've got what we wanted as fans 15, 16 years ago. Now you can't spit your dummy out and say, oh, well, we don't want that anymore. We made our bed. We lie in it. Thank you, VP. Right, 3 more minutes and I am gone. 40 million is bollocks. We get 60 million from Adidas alone. Let's not forget any player sales, says Brian McCloskey. Exactly, my friend. Plus transfers are not paid up front. So 40 million to buy about 100 odd million pounds worth of players. Usmanov was perfect for Arsenal, says Imran. It was until Red Action decided to put a banner out inside the ground saying love football, hate Usmanov. Good one. How they regret that now. Bellerin out start of the season. Will we get a right back, says Shoaib Ahmed. I don't think we will. I think we'll probably play Maitland-Niles there, if I'm being honest, mate. Thoughts on Wan-Bissaka to United reportedly agreed, says Richard S. Mate, if that's true, then fair play, mate. He's a top draw right back. That 60 million is going in Kroenke's pocket. Bruv, did you not just hear the last 15 minutes? He has taken £6 million since he has been a shareholder at Arsenal. He don't take money out of the club. It's a myth. The previous manager was taking double that a season. And that he is the problem. Hence why we got rid of him. We need another goalkeeper, says Benjamin. I agree. How would you feel if Arsenal don't sign any established players this summer, says Rob Reeves. I'd be quite happy, mate. I don't want any mercenaries at this football club. I want players that are capable of running around and giving their all for the badge. Reece Nelson, Smith Rowe, Maitland-Niles, Iwobi, yeah, Willock. I'd rather see all of them start next season than go and spend money on a fucking mercenary that don't really give a fuck about the club, mate. We can raise 1 billion to buy Arsenal. Do you know what, right? If we set up a GoFundMe page, do you reckon we could raise fucking a couple of billion quid and buy Stan Kroenke out? Do you reckon he'd take it? Arsenal can't afford mercenaries, says Ko Heisel. Benitez or Emery? Emery for me, but I do rate Benitez. Aiden. I'm not joking. Rabba, thank you for your donation. Who do you think Liverpool should sign? Do you know what? The one player I think Liverpool should sign this summer, right? Actually, there's 2 players, right? For Liverpool to go and win a title, Liverpool need 2 players, right? 2 players. They need Fekir and they need Koulibaly. You go and buy both of them players, doesn't matter what Man City do, you go and win the title. But it ain't going to be cheap. It's whether Liverpool go and do that. Darren Shires, pink or brown, just say it as it is. 2 in the pink, 1 in the stink, Darren. Why haven't we sold anyone? I think we sold Ospina, come out, to be honest. Just don't think it's been announced yet, but I think he's gone. Right, one more question. One more question. Who do you fancy to win the championship next season? Says Arsenal Crazy 8. If Frank Lampard stays at Derby, I think Derby will win it. I think they've been fantastic this season. Shame they missed out. I didn't want Villa to go up. Can't stand John Terry. Can't stand Jack Grealish. So yeah, if Lampard stays at Derby, I expect them to go up and win the title, mate. So before I go, to recap, Joachim Anderson has basically said, come and get me. He has said that he is thankful for everything Sampdoria has done for him. He wants to play in the best leagues in the world, best clubs in the world, and he hopes that Sampdoria get a big fee for him because he will be moving. 3 clubs are in for him, Arsenal, Tottenham and Lyon. Tottenham, I'm not sure he'd slot straight in there with Sanchez and Vertonghen, even if Alderweireld leaves. Yes, I know they've got Foyth, but they don't really play with a 3 at the back. They go with a 4 at the back. Lyon, why would he go there? Good team, not a great league. Arsenal would walk straight in our first team. So there we go. Thank you to over 500 people that were watching live at one stage, consistently at 450 all the way through. Before you all leave, bang a like on the video if you enjoyed the content. Share that around as well. And also DM my Instagram with LS for live stream, capital letters LS. DM me, I will follow you back. Just DM LS and I will follow you back. It might not be instantly, so don't get the ag. It might be tomorrow morning. So anyway, I'm out of here. I will see you all tomorrow morning for my daily transfer update. Laters, peeps.